Welcome to First Chapter Friday. My name is Lucy, and the book that I'm going to be reading the first chapter of today is called I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. This book is the story of Edie, who is an only child living with her mother and father, and Edie knows that her mother is Native American but was adopted by a non-Native family, and that's as much of her heritage that she knows in that regard, and that she thinks she'll ever know because her mother was adopted. And Edie gets a lot of questions all the time. People say, where are you from? What are you? So it's something that sort of she's thinking about, but she's settled into this idea that she might not be able to know more about it until she finds a box in her attic that has pictures of a woman named Edith who looks a lot like Edie, the main character in this story. And this sort of starts to unfold a mystery about who this Edith is, why Edie has the same name as her, why Edie looks so much like her. And she thinks maybe she has an opportunity to get to the bottom of some of the answers about who her mother's real parents were. She doesn't really know how to approach her parents to ask about this, and she wonders why she hasn't heard about it before. So that also unfolds in the book, and that is really what the book is about, is this sort of self-discovery for Edie, but also for Edie to get closer to her mother and her uncle and learn about the truth of what happened to Edie's mother's birth parents. The book was inspired by real life events of the author. She's the daughter of a Native American Upper Skagit, Nooksack, Blackfeet, Nez Perce adoptee. So she had a parent who went through a similar experience as Edie's mom did. So she's writing from family history for this book, and that lends it some authenticity. So I will read the prologue and then the first chapter of I Can Make This Promise. And it's dedicated, it says, for the grandmothers and mothers who came before me. Prologue. Where are you from? I never thought of myself as different until my first day of kindergarten. I remember round tables with flimsy tops, plastic chairs, and shiny metal legs. Books and stuffed animals were gathered around a fake tree in the reading corner. Cloud-shaped mobiles hung from the ceiling, strands of paper raindrops suspended in midair. A bright yellow sun was painted across one wall. The alphabet was spelled out in a rainbow of uppercase letters. My classmates already seemed to know each other. Everyone was talking and laughing and shouting. I was one of the tallest people in the room, but I felt invisible. I didn't know how to join the conversations, the noise. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to. Mrs. Vespucci saw me, hovering near the classroom door. She hurried over and knelt before me. Her smile revealed straight, white teeth. She reminded me of a fairy tale princess. Her voice was like a melody, her hair like spun gold. I imagined her singing lullabies to an audience of fawns and bluebirds. Hello, Edith. A jolt of surprise before I remembered my name tag. A school-issued lanyard was looped around my neck, clipped to a laminated square. Edith, with an illustrated elephant. E for elephant, E for me. Wow, the teacher's grin widened as she stared at my face. What are you? I told her, I'm Edie. Oh, Edie, that's your preferred name? Where are you from, sweetheart? You're such a pretty girl. I live in Seattle. Yes, that's true, but where are you originally from? Seattle? Mrs. Vespucci laughed, but I wasn't sure what was funny. Do you know where your parents lived before they came here? Her questions made me feel panicked. This was my first test, and somehow I was failing. I couldn't speak. I didn't understand what she was asking. I didn't know what she wanted from me. I've gotten the question a lot since then. What are you? Where are you from? What am I? My father is American and my mother is Native American. Technically, Dad has roots in Germany, England, and Wales, but I don't mention this because it feels dishonest. I've never visited these places. I don't know much about them. I'm not even sure where they are in the European continent. So I just say Dad is American, which works out fine because no one asks about him anyways. They jump straight to Mom. They want to know what it means to be Native American. They ask me what tribe I'm from. They ask if I know what buffalo tastes like. They ask about my spiritual beliefs. They ask about the percentages and ratios of my blood. My answer remains the same. I don't really know. My mom was adopted. Chapter 1, The Big Bang, July 4th. Fireworks are banned in my neighborhood. There are too many trees, too many houses. So this year, for the 4th of July, my parents are taking me to the Tulalip Reservation, about 20 miles north of the city. They sell all kinds of fireworks, and they have a huge field where you can set them off. This place is crowded and colorful and chaotic. It's amazing. My parents lead the way to the booths. There's a food truck parked beside the big gravel lot selling authentic Mexican tacos. The smell of cooked seasoned meat fills the air, mixing with the peppery gunpowder from all the fireworks. I can practically feel it in little flecks of grime all over my skin. Mom asks, "Do you need these, Edie?" She opens her palm, revealing a little package of earplugs. I shake my head. I'm okay, thanks. The booths are set up in several rows. The nearest one is decorated with red, white, and blue streamers and a huge banner that shouts, "Fireworks!" in bold letters. The booth across from it is lime green with little alien heads and UFOs outlined all over it in black paint. Another is hot pink with candy-colored rockets arranged in bouquets on its counter. The next is blue with the Seattle Seahawks logo stenciled in stark white and silver, plus the number 12. The one is shaped like the Space Needle. I like this graffiti. I like the bright colors, the bold lines. I wonder if they created drawings and stencils first, or if they just grabbed their cans of spray paint and improvised. I also wonder if they keep sketchbooks or have favorite places to draw like I do. I'm always curious about other artists and their habits, their unfinished drafts, their inspirations. As we keep moving, I can't help but drink it all in. I've never been to a reservation before. Each person I make eye contact with feels significant. It's possible some of them are distant relatives. I could be walking past cousins or aunties right now, and I wouldn't even know it. A rock and roll version of the Star-Spangled Banner starts blaring out of nowhere, and I glance around myself, trying to find the speakers. But as the loud electric guitar mimics the sounds of "Oh Say Can You See," I instead notice a food vendor with signs that say they have traditional Native American fry bread. I stop and stare. The line is huge. The menu is handwritten on a whiteboard. An ice-filled cooler contains soda and bottled lemonades. There are 2 open counters, one where you pay, one where you wait for your order. I watch as a girl receives her food. The fry bread is a rumpled golden brown disc served on a paper plate. It almost looks like an elephant ear. As the guitar transitions to a choppy "What So Proudly We Hailed," something knocks into the back of my legs. I stumble and turn around. A dog peers up at me with watery, bloodshot eyes, panting hard. And his fur is mangy, but he looks happy, surprisingly calm. I thought all dogs hated fireworks, but he doesn't seem to mind the noise, the chaos. He just looks a little lost. I extend my hand to him. "Hi, puppy." He lifts his nose, sniffs my finger, pushes his snout against my palm. His tail wags ferociously as he inches closer. "That's a good boy," I say. "You're a good boy." I check his neck, but he isn't wearing a collar. I glance around. Cash registers chime and shouts of laughter are eclipsed by a huge boom. Shoes crunch across the gravel. A group of men walk by in mismatched basketball jerseys. A teenager adjusts her sunglasses. Her colorful beaded bracelets slide down her brown forearm. A guy with 2 long, dark braids is wearing a Batman tank top. A toddler is mid-meltdown, hands clamped over her ears, face crumpled as she cries out. Poor thing, I murmur. I stroke the dog's head, distracted. Where's your owner? The rock and roll version of the Star-Spangled Banner is no longer recognizable. The guitar riffs have dissolved into wails. It doesn't sound like O'er the Ramparts we watched. It doesn't sound like anything, just crashing notes and frantic energy. I turn in the other direction, and an older woman catches my gaze and holds it. She's seated on a stool at the edge of the crowd. Her t-shirt bears the message, "Find our missing girls." Huh, I wonder what that's about. Edie, Mom's voice cuts in through the blaring guitar and blasting fireworks. What are you doing? She places her hand on my shoulder and gently steers me away. Honey, you can't pet random dogs like that. It's not safe. Look at how big he is. He might hurt you. Dad's behind her. Your mother's right. I know he's cute, but you need to be careful. But he's alone, I say. Shouldn't we help him find his way home? Someone will come along for him, Mom says, and I can barely hear her as the guitar screeches. Don't worry. She tugs me away, but I look back. The dog sits in the middle of the walkway. His ears perk up, and his tongue lolls out of the corner of his mouth as he watches me leave. So I'm going to stop there, but that is chapter 1 of I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. So in that first little bit of the book, you can see how Edie often gets questions about where she's from, her bloodline, what she is. People are constantly sort of approaching her with those questions, and it bothers her that she doesn't have answers. So this book is sort of a mystery as she starts to discover and try to find out on her own what her mother's lineage is. So it's got that mystery element. It also has some friendship pieces in it. Edie has 2 good friends, and one of them ends up being sort of a not so good friend. So it deals a little bit with some toxic friendship, and it's a great family story. So I really enjoyed I Can Make This Promise, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks for joining me.